You're enjoying TNN, the Nashville Network.
This week on MotoWorld, a look back at the 1987 racing season. We'll talk to 3 of last year's American champions at home in California. And the Pro Indoor Ice Racing Championship goes down to the wire. All this and more next on MotoWorld.
MotoWorld is brought to you by Coors, the first draft beer in bottles and cans. Coors, the original. Honda motorcycles, all-terrain vehicles, and scooters. Honda, come ride with us. Fram Autolite, the makers of Fram oil filters and Autolite spark plugs. Suzuki, ask your dealer about Suzuki retail financing for motorcycles and quad runners. Ride on, Suzuki. And by Castrol, motor oil engineered for today's smaller, higher revving engines.
Hello, I'm Larry Maiers, and welcome to this special Champions edition of MotoWorld. During the next half hour, we'll visit with the 3 most prominent champions on the American racing scene, and we'll review the 1987 seasons in motocross, road racing, and dirt tracking. But first, let's crown the first major champion of the 1988 racing season.
Heading into the 5th and final round of the 14th annual Pro Ice Race Series, 5 riders had a mathematical chance at winning the championship. 4 of them were chasing Brian Harden.
Tonight, I just got to keep ahead of Garth, Dan, Chucky, and everybody. I got 2-point lead on them, and I'm going to do anything I got to stay there.
Each rider handles the pressure of competition differently. 6-time series champion Garth Brow had one of the more interesting ways to deal with it. Ouch! Brow, number 15, wasn't any luckier on the ice. Aggressive riding is the key in ice racing, but sometimes it gets you into trouble. This accident seemed to mirror the fate of both Brow and number 1 defending champ Dave Hebb. With 3 points for a win, 2 for second place, and 1 for third, any mishap would be costly in the 20-heat round-robin format. Number 35, Chuck Springsteen, found that out when he popped a wheelie on the start of one of the heats. Still, his hard riding kept him in title contention. The championship boiled down to the next to last heat of the program. Harden, number 70, had been consistent all night, and needing only 1 point to sew up the title, wasn't about to slack off. Springsteen won the race, but Harden, second place, clinched the crown. The first to congratulate the 22-year-old rider from Ortonville, Michigan, was series runner-up Springsteen. Our congratulations go out to Harden also. For his outstanding performance, we are naming him the Castrol Rider of the Week. For being named Castrol Rider of the Week, Brian Harden will receive a custom embroidered racing jacket and a commemorative plaque from Castrol.
From the slippery surface of ice racing, let's turn our attention to the shifting sands of the Nevada desert. Mark McKay reports on the 5th annual World Championship, Hare and Hound.
A new sponsor, the turn-of-the-century-looking Gold Strike Hotel and Gambling Hall, hosted this year's championship event. Those riders looking to strike it rich included both the 2-wheel and ATV ranks, where the pros were out in full force. The new course provided the ATV riders with a wide-open start and a mad dash across the sand as the field sorted itself out. Once out on the trail, things loosened up a bit, but it wasn't until about 1/3 distance in the 84-mile race that number 33, Mark Garvin, established himself as the leader. Alan Levinson, number 11, stayed within striking distance, waiting for a mistake which never came. Suzuki rider Garvin of nearby Las Vegas had built up close to a 90-second advantage over his rival when he crossed the finish line. For the 25-year-old Carpenter, the victory made up for some recent disappointments.
Oh, I'm real happy. I've had a lot of problems lately, running out of gas, leading some major races, and everything just held up. No flats or nothing. It was just a really good race.
Sportsman class winner Trent Stuckey, on the only 3-wheeler in the race, bounced back, literally, for his victory.
But I had one flip, did a somersault in the air, landed flat on my back, laid there for a while, caught my breath, and it was hurting throughout the whole race. I was ready to give up on the third pit.
In the motorcycle ranks, the overall victory went to two-time Hare and Hound national champion Dan Smith. His win-with-ease riding style at the finish was typical, yet he held only a 20-second advantage on second place. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Mark McKay.
Still to come on MotoWorld, a review of the dirt track season gone by, and a talk with the king of the dirt, Bubba Shobert. 87 was an exciting year in motocross. We'll review the action and talk to the sport's #1 rider, Rick Johnson. And coming up next, road racing. Relive the action and meet Superbike champ Wayne Rainey. We'll be right back.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Like Larry, Moe, and Curly, fast cars and fancy shoes. Like Buffalo Bob and a lucky dog, and like cats who sing the blues. I'm an American original, the first draft beer in a can, tapping ice cold pours with a friend of yours.
Brewery fresh draft beer in bottles and cans. That's been Coors for over 25 years. Taste the original today.
Put a 12-ounce keg in your hand.
When a hot game follows dinner, even Pat Riley can lose his cool.
Not good.
That's when he reaches for control. Rolaids. Rolaids Add Acid consumes all the acid required to give millions 100% relief from heartburn and acid indigestion. That way, Pat's free to let his emotions really show.
Not bad.
Relief. You know how to spell it.
Power, power, power. Now, you are playing with power.
Punch Out by Nintendo. 11 world-class contenders. Take them down with your controller, beat them all, and you've got a shot at Tyson's title.
Power!
But for that, you've got to beat Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's Punch Out from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
Welcome back to MotoWorld and our look back at the 87 racing season. The first area of competition we'll review is road racing. Managing editor Dennis Torres was MotoWorld's road racing expert in 1987, and it'll be his unenviable task to highlight a season's worth of racing in a few minutes.
You're right, Larry. Covering all the classes and championships in a few minutes is like speed reading through Gone with the Wind. And the more I talk, the less you'll see. So let's get right into it, starting out with 500cc Grand Prix competition. In most eyes, the World Road Racing Championship is synonymous with the 500cc series, where names like Halewood, Agostini, and Roberts adorn the record books. In the current era, Americans have dominated, until 1987 that is. Australian-born Wayne Gardner and his V4 Honda broke the American stranglehold in the 500 class in convincing fashion. In 15 races, he scored 7 wins and finished in the top 3 12 times. Meanwhile, Anton Tony Mang earned Honda the second most important world title, the 250cc crown. The ageless German, like Gardner, scored 7 wins in the series on the way to his 5th world championship. In endurance road racing, it was an all-Suzuki affair, both internationally and stateside. The French duo of Bruno Labine and Hervé Munoz took their GSXR 750 to a second straight World Endurance Championship, while in the U.S., Team Hammer racked up yet another WERA title, their 4th in the last 5 years, and they added to their record number of career team wins. Meanwhile, in the U.S. MotoWorld Series, Team Lockhart successfully defended their title and will again wear the #1 plate in '88. Perhaps the biggest upset or surprise in U.S. road racing unfolded in Pro Twins competition, where veteran Doug Bronick and innovative team owner and tuner Dr. John Whitner took the title on their one-of-a-kind Moto Guzzi. The most prestigious road racing title on the American scene is the National Superbike Championship, and for this year's champ, Wayne Rainey, 1987 proved to be momentous on and off the track. Wayne Rainey and his best man, Bubba Shobert. Team Honda never looked so good. Wayne Rainey and his bride Shay forming the new effort on the block, Team Rainey. Getting married and winning the National Superbike Championship in the same year will be hard to top for Wayne Rainey, but I'm sure he won't mind trying. The California rider had a dream year in '87, winning the prestigious Daytona 200 in March and clinching the Superbike crown in August. In between, there were some ups and downs, but in the end, Rainey took his second career Superbike title and used it as a springboard into the World Championship Grand Prix wars for '88. Off the track, he's a homebody and very family-oriented. It's not uncommon to see him watering his lawn with wife Shay during the afternoon. Has marriage life sapped his tunnel vision towards racing?
I think it has and it hasn't. I'm always going to have that drive to go out and win, except now I have a wife that it seems like it takes a little bit more as far as what I think about all the time away. Like I used to always just think about racing and whatever it took to win. I still think that way, but now I've got another feeling that's involved with that, and that's, having Shay now as my wife.
You could have ended the Wayne Rainey saga at the end of '87 with and they lived happily ever after, but there are many more chapters yet to be written before Wayne Rainey's epilogue. It would be unfair in recapping the Superbike season if I didn't make mention of Suzuki's Kevin Schwantz, who finished second in the championship with 5 wins in 9 races. There's one more road racing title that was up for grabs in '87, and I bet even a diehard motocross fan like you know what I'm talking about.
You bet I do. It was John Kocinski, winner of the 1987 Castrol 250 Grand Prix Championship. And here's a look at this brilliant young talent and his championship team, courtesy of Steve Saunders, and this week's Coors Behind the Scenes segment.
20-year-old John Kocinski first gained national attention in 1985. His confidence around the paddock and aggressive riding on 250cc Grand Prix machinery landed the native of Little Rock, Arkansas, a factory superbike ride with Team Yamaha for 1986. Yamaha withdrew from the series at the end of the season, leaving Kocinski without a ride. Enter King Kenny Roberts. The 3-time 500cc world champion was forming a team to groom American riders with potential. Kocinski was his #1 choice. Calvin Rayburn III, namesake of the late road racing superstar, also joined the team.
Both of these guys and the whole team has just sort of caught me off guard. I didn't expect this kind of results. I figured that we would just get a foot in, and next year we'd come at them a little harder, and we will.
For Kosinski and Rayburn, the year of learning quickly became one of teaching, with team leader Kosinski at the head of the class. Time and again, Kosinski gave lessons on the quickest way to the checkered flag to 4-time world champion Cork Ballington, number 99, and former 250 champ Randy Renfro. Roberts is well aware of the raw talent of one John Kocinski and has nurtured that talent by giving him test rides on exotic machinery in prestigious international events such as the Suzuka 8 Hours of Endurance.
And John is a rider who will be strong in the future. If John keeps going the way he's going at the moment, he'll be better than I am, or I was.
With a title defense and selected GPs to race, Kocinski will have ample opportunity to prove King Kenny right. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Steve Saunders.
This portion of MotoWorld has been brought to you by Harley-Davidson Incorporated. Things are different on a Harley.
Everywhere you look, products are packaged for value and convenience. It's true of donuts, bars of soap, cases of soda, even long distance has been packaged for value and convenience. With AT&T's Reach Out America plan, it gives you long distance by the hour, not by the mile. Just phone 1-800-544-7770 to get an hour of AT&T calls every month, all across the country, to any other state, all for our lowest price ever, just $8. You can call as far as Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, even Alaska. They're all packed into Reach Out America. So are your faraway friends and family. And you can talk to them all every month if you're willing to spend just $8. There's just one thing to remember. In order to get an hour of calls every month all across the country for just $8, you have to call during the plan's hours. But that's the easy part, because the plan is packed with hours. You get all day Saturday and Sunday until 5 p.m. So while you're relaxing on the weekend, you can relax on the phone. You can even call every night starting as early as 10 p.m. You can use your hour any way you like and extra hours cost even less. It's all packed into Reach Out America. And it can be yours if you phone 1-800-544-7770. Do it now to get an hour of AT&T calls every month all across the country for our lowest price ever, just $8. There's even a way to get a 15% discount on calls as early as 5 p.m. To order the plan that could help your long-distance dollars go farther, call toll-free 1-800-544-7770. That's 1-800-544-7770.
I'd like to order AT&T's Reach Out America.
Call now and enroll in AT&T's Reach Out America, the long-distance plan that's packed with value and convenience.
This portion of MotoWorld is brought to you by Rolaids, the antacid millions rely on. Use only as directed.
Looking back at the 1987 National Dirt Track season brings to mind an adage that will affect racers and spectators alike in the upcoming '88 season. The adage? I've got some good news and some bad news.
The good news for Bubba Shobert fans is that the 25-year-old native Texan will again spearhead Team Honda's dirt track and road racing programs in 1988. Unfortunately for Shobert's rivals, that's bad news. The Carmel Valley, California resident wrapped up his third straight Camel Pro Series Dirt Track Championship crown in 1987. That strong showing was backed up by a third overall in the final Superbike Championship Series standings. On his way to those impressive showings, Shobert racked up 7 national championship wins, 6 on the dirt, and 1 hard-fought road racing victory at Laguna Seca, where aggressive and consistent riding earned the Team Honda rider the winner's champagne. Shobert, with 32 career national wins to his credit, now has his sights set on rewriting the AMA record book. Few doubt the champ will break Jay Springsteen's modern-day record of 40 career victories. The only question is, when?
It's going to be hard to do. I'd have to win, I guess, 8 races next year to do that, and that's a lot of races in 1 year, but it can be done. I've won 9 in 1 season, so it's possible that I can do it.
Although Shobert and Honda were victorious on the dirt for the 3rd straight year, Harley factory riders Scott Parker and Chris Carr closed up the performance gap on Shobert in '87. Parker, number 11, had wins at the Louisville Half Mile and the season finale, the Sacramento Mile, while Carr, number 20, scored a win at Ascot Park and displayed maturity beyond his years in his first full year as a Harley-Davidson factory rider. Will Shobert and Honda keep the Harley trio of Parker, Carr, and Jay Springsteen at bay in '88? That's the question that will attract thousands of fans this season. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Chris Larson.
You've seen Bubba Shobert in action. Now let's see him in a different environment at home in Carmel Valley, California. As you are about to see, dirt track racing's irresistible force has reaped the rewards of his championship-winning ways.
There's more to life than just racing for 3-time Camel Pro Series champion Bubba Shobert. The 26-year-old Texas native now calls the scenic countryside of Carmel Valley, California, his home. And when he tires of looking at the mountains, the beauty of the Monterey Peninsula is just a short distance away. A typical day for the Team Honda star usually starts in the kitchen with fresh orange juice. Afterwards, it's on to the gym. Having his own fitness equipment allows Shobert to follow a daily regimen of strenuous physical conditioning. Then it's off to the garage where the champ keeps his toys and where it seems there's never a shortage of work to be done. There's also the inevitable daily business to conduct. It's all part of being champion and a businessman. Shobert carries the businessman's role even further. His main relaxation is playing golf. The hazards here include some friendly deer. Despite golf and the relative calm of the off-season, racing and what Shobert hopes to accomplish in 1988 is never far from his thoughts.
I'd like to be able to break Jay Springsteen's record. I'd like to be able to tie the Grand National Championship record at 4. I'd like to have a chance at winning that, but if my career goes the way I'm hoping it will go, and that be go to Europe in '89, I don't know if I'll get a chance to do that. But first of all, I've got to try to win it in '88 and tie the record before I can beat it, so I'll just have to take it one step at a time.
If Bubba Shobert is recognized as the king of dirt track racing, then Rick Johnson must be acknowledged as tops in motocross. When we return, we'll review the motocross season and visit with Rick Magic Johnson at his home.
This week's Rolaids Rough Ride of the Week belongs to this over-anxious and unlucky dirt tracker. After this, he definitely needed that 100% Rolaids relief.
When a hot game follows dinner, even Pat Riley can lose his cool.
Not good.
That's when he reaches for control. Rolaids. Rolaids Add Acid consumes all the acid required to give millions 100% relief from heartburn and acid indigestion. That way, Pat's free to let his emotions really show.
Not bad.
Relief. You know how to spell it.
Now you can get a Suzuki Quad Runner for no money down during Suzuki's Zero Down on a Quad deal.
Oh, you don't have to call it Zero Down on a Quad deal.
What?
You can call it Not a Down, or you can call it Zip Down,
Look,
or you can
just
call it Zip
no
Down.
down payment. Is that okay, Mr.
Raymond J. Johnson Jr.?
Mr. Johnson Jr.
Oh,
Good,
you
that's all
don't
you
have to call me Johnson.
Whatever.
You can call me Ray.
Whatever
Or you
your
can
name
call
is, check
me
out the
Jay.
Zero Down on
Or
a
you
Quad
can
deal
call me
during the
Johnny.
Suzuki Quad
Or you
Rider
can call
times.
me
I'm very
Jay.
sorry for this.
Or you can
Excuse
call
me.
me, or you can call it Bupkis Down, or you can call it Zip Down, or you can call it Zil.
Power, power, power. Now, you are playing with power.
Punch Out by Nintendo.
Play with power.
11 world-class contenders. Take them down with your controller, beat them all, and you've got a shot at Tyson's title.
Power.
But for that, you've got to beat Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
Hi, this is Gary Beatty, inviting you to be a part of a special television event. On April 26, we'll present the TNN Viewers' Choice Awards. It's a star-studded show live from the Grand Ole Opry House, and we'd like you to help pick the winners of these prestigious awards. Nominees in 8 categories have been selected by a blue ribbon panel, and you can vote for your favorite nominees. So keep watching for details and be an important part of the TNN Viewers' Choice Awards.
Hi, everybody. This is Sylvia with my very special guest, Mel Tillis, inviting you to join us as we show you how to prepare a fantastic Valentine's Day meal for your family and friends.
Yes, and we're having a great time, and we'd like for you folks to join in and have some fun with us.
All right here on Holiday Gourmet.
Watch Holiday Gourmet, Monday, February 1st at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, only on TNN.
Team Suzuki presents the MotoWorld Suzuki Event Calendar. A look at some of the major events coming up in the world of motorcycles and ATVs.
The 88 racing season shifts into high gear in February as exciting indoor supercross headlines a racing doubleheader at the Seattle Kingdome on February 13th and 14th. The opening round of the outdoor AMA National Motocross Championships unfolds February 27th and 28th at the venerable Gatorback Cycle Park in Gainesville, Florida. And finally, Daytona Cycle Week 88 is just around the corner. The festivities open up with the Suzuki National Cup Road Race on February 27th and 28th and culminate with the granddaddy of all road races, the Daytona 200, on Sunday, March 6th.
This week's Fram Autolite Flashback focuses on motocross berm warfare during the 1987 National Championship season. Dave Bowman recalls the action, starting off with the Supercross Championship.
The 1987 Supercross season saw Kawasaki's 10-year veteran Jeff Ward of Mission Viejo, California, reclaim the series title he lost to arch rival Rick Johnson at the end of the 1986 season. The 26-year-old Ward held the momentum through the 14-race series, winning a total of 5 championship rounds. Coupled with consistent finishes, it was enough to net Ward his second title despite rival Johnson's 7-race wins. The National Championship Motocross Series was highlighted by intense battles throughout the 125, 250, and 500cc ranks. In the 125 class, it was Honda's Mickey Diamond adding a second series crown to his collection. The 12-race series saw 22-year-old Diamond of Yorba Linda, California, take the checkered flag in 5 national events. Suzuki's George Holland, who finished second in the championship chase, had 3 victories. The name to remember in both the 250 and 500 divisions was Rick Johnson. In each of the championship series, Team Honda's Johnson won the opening and closing rounds and just about everything in between. 23-year-old Johnson's third 250 class title in the past 4 seasons saw the El Cajon, California native steadily outshine his rivals. The champion dominated 5 of the 6 title rounds, with Kawasaki's Ron Lachine the only rider to break the stranglehold Johnson had on the class. The script for the 500 class was written along the same lines. Johnson played the leading role in 5 of the 6 championship races, and Kawasaki's Lachine made another cameo appearance, denying Johnson a clean sweep. Reporting from MotoWorld, this is Dave Bowman.
The question on the minds of most of the motocross fraternity is, can Rick Johnson do it again in '88? We ventured to his home in El Cajon, California to find the answer and his goals for the '88 season.
Well, same plans I've had since 1986. Well, actually the same plans I've had ever since I've started racing, just to win every race I go in. I'm gonna keep my life clean, stay out of trouble, and train and keep my nose to the grindstone. And I think I'll just do what I feel God wants me to do. But I think that's go out and win races and try to be a good example for kids.
Rick Johnson's religious convictions and desire to be a role model for today's youth are not publicized issues.
I find my power from God and Jesus is more of a personal thing to me. I spend some time at home reading my Bible when I'm confused and praying, and I feel that helps me. It puts light on the situation.
There has been very little light shed on Rick Johnson the person versus Rick Johnson the motocrosser. The Team Honda superstar seems to prefer it that way. We do know, however, that consideration for others is high on Johnson's list.
I like to race GPs, but I feel if I left the United States right now, it would leave Jeff.
The finished product was national championship caliber.
With thanks to Rick Johnson for the pizza, we're out of time. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of MotoWorld as much as I know we're going to enjoy this pizza that Rick Johnson fixed. In the meantime, keep your wheels on the ground, your feet off the pegs, and your hands off my pizza. For MotoWorld, I'm Larry Maiers.
MotoWorld has been brought to you by Coors, the first draft beer in bottles and cans. Coors, the original. Honda motorcycles, all-terrain vehicles, and scooters. Honda, come ride with us. Fram Autolite, the makers of Fram oil filters and Autolite spark plugs. Suzuki, ask your dealer about Suzuki retail financing for motorcycles and quad runners. Ride on, Suzuki. And by Castrol, motor oil engineered for today's smaller, higher revving engines. The executive producer of MotoWorld is Lou Seals. MotoWorld is a production of Seals Communications Corporation.
For the best in the country, there's just one choice. TNN, the Nashville Network.
Get ready, country music lovers. The Opryland USA Encore.
Part of this great heritage simply by calling now 1-800-445-5700. For just $20, you will receive the privileges and benefits of NRA membership, including 12 exciting issues of the American Rifleman or American Hunter magazine, $600 gun theft insurance, $10,000 accidental death and dismemberment insurance, your official NRA membership card and window decal, plus NRA's gold-braided insignia shooter's cap. And if you call right now, you will also receive NRA's Sportsman's Premium Pack, loaded with valuable discounts and rebates from the world's leading manufacturers of hunting, shooting, and sporting equipment. Call 1-800-445-5700. Preserve your heritage of freedoms. Join the National Rifle Association.
You're watching TNN. It's the place to be.
This week on MotoWorld, the Supercross season opens in California. MotoWorld talks to road racing legend Barry Sheene. And we'll find out why this guy had a hair-raising experience. All this and more next on MotoWorld.
MotoWorld is brought to you by Coors, the first draft beer and bottles and cans. Coors, the original. Honda motorcycles, all-terrain vehicles, and scooters. Honda, come ride with us.